Okay, good afternoon, everyone, at least for those of us here on the East Coast. Today I'm pleased to introduce Michelle Wyatt, who is a co-founder and CEO for CadmiumCD, an event technology business. CadmiumCD works with over 350 clients a year, and they're focused on streamlining and simplifying the collection and distribution of event content. So with that, Michelle, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So today we're going to be focusing specifically on how we can help using our software collect, manage, and share conference content using our event management platform. So I'd like to start by just giving a quick overview on what event management software is. I know that event technology overall has gotten a very broad brushing over the past couple of years and can include a lot of different components for your event. But I'm going to discuss what we believe it is specific to our products, just so that we have a common background and understanding. So from our perspectives, there's three different groups of people that attend your event. There are the conference attendees, there are your exhibitors, and there are your speakers. Obviously, all three of these people intersect and have common needs, but there are unique needs to each group of people as well. So we're going to be talking about the products that CadmiumCD offers and specifically how they can address the needs from each of these three different groups. Again, specifically, we want to ease the collection process. So we want to be able to collect information directly from the exhibitors, sponsors, and the speakers. We want to allow you to edit or make any adjustments or changes to it. And we want to make it so that it can be published in a format that your attendees can find and easily discover what's going on at your conference, either from an education side, where they can see all the sessions going on, or from an exhibitor side, where they can see which exhibitors are on the floor plan and be able to visit them based on their needs. We also like to think of our process as a continuous process, where we start working with you throughout the event cycle. So before the event is where a lot of the data organization occurs, where you're collecting the information, finalizing who your speakers are, selling the expo booth, getting your sponsors in line. During the event, obviously, it's execution. All eyes are on the event. And then afterwards, it's the post-reporting, post-conference reporting, analytics, and other feedback that all the major stakeholders of your event need in order to make decisions about your conference or event. So again, we focus on all three timeframes as well. So one of the strengths that CadmiumCD offers is the fact that we offer a number of different products. Clients can pick and choose which of the products they want to use, and we can streamline them based on whether you need help with your speaker side, your exhibitor side, or if you're trying to find products that work well with your attendees. And we can also further divide them into before the event, during the event, or after the event. So before the event, as I mentioned, we frequently have what we call a call for abstracts or call for submissions process, which is basically where your members or anyone interested in attending your event might be submitting ideas for what the topics or presentations should include. So that detail can be collected in the abstract scorecard. We have the same side with the exhibitors and or sponsorship sales, where you are attempting to find interested exhibitors and or sponsors for your event. We have software that will help them facilitate that purchase once they've self-identified themselves or you've identified them and directed them to the website. So again, we don't actually provide the service where we will actively seek out exhibitors and sponsors for your show, but we have the software that will help you manage that process. And then once either the speakers are confirmed that they're definitely going to participate, or the exhibitors and or sponsors have confirmed their plans to participate in the conference, we move them into what we call the harvester. The harvester is our product where we can further manage and ask for information from your speakers and exhibitors that wouldn't be appropriate in the idea stage, but once the details are kind of more fleshed out and finalized, we can collect all sorts of additional information, such as their final PowerPoint slides, their AV needs. You might provide your speakers with an honorarium. And on the exhibitor side, we can collect all their deliverables. So if you need to print something, if you need to include their logo on signage, we can collect all that type of detail and make it really seamless for everybody to see what the deadlines are, what's needed, and then what's left to do. The great thing about the Harvester product is it acts as a back-end database or feeds all the public-facing products. So the public-facing products that are used by your attendees normally during the event and normally when they're trying to plan out their events in advance would be the interactive floor plan. They can search all the exhibitors there. The app, we have a native app that's native for the iOS and Android devices. There's an e-poster gallery. And then with your AV company, we can support direct presentation delivery to the presentation rooms with assistance of your AV company and digital signage. And then after the event, we can help with giving you quiz and evaluation results. We can talk about content distribution if we've done your recordings, or if you want the handouts or papers from your conference to be available online or by some other method. So we really try and streamline the entire process throughout the entire cycle. And this is just another view. So again, this is kind of the speaker management piece. This is the exhibitor management piece. And then this is all the attendee facing products. So again, clients can pick and choose which of the products they want to use, and then they operate seamlessly together regardless of which products you're choosing. So one of the reasons that we believe that you should consider trying to consolidate the number of vendors that you are working with is that if you are working on multiple projects throughout the year, as many of our clients are, they can access all the projects from one dashboard. So in this example that you can see here, Pediatric Dentist has a number of events that they are using throughout the year with us. And they can see the series of their conferences, and then they can see which of the modules they're using for their specific event. So AAPD has a very large annual session, but then they also have a lot of smaller events going on throughout the year. So obviously based on the size of the event or on the budget constraints would affect which technology they may want to implement for their event. But some of their smaller conferences may only have 500 people, versus their annual session is typically 5,000. So, you know, we can work and do work with all size conferences just depending on what the need is specific for your event. One of the things that we also pride ourselves on with offering one united platform is we can reduce the need for a lot of internal IT support. So our software is cloud-based, meaning anyone on your staff can access it 24/7 from any computer. We do have a project manager that is assigned to work with the client on a specific module. So the clients can communicate with us. We actually have an online ticketing system that we call the Boomerang system. Boomerangs basically allow our clients to submit questions or requests for us to complete certain work for them, and then get immediate feedback as their project is worked on and when it's completed. There's also a lot of tools within the software themselves that enable the clients to perform many, if not all, of the tasks directly themselves once they've learned the software, or be able to streamline a lot of their editing. So for example, we have a credentials cleanup tool. So I know that there's at least 16 different ways to spell PhD, depending if you're using capital letters or lowercase and periods or without periods. So based on that, we have the tools to streamline it so that everyone with the PhD designation has it streamlined and consistent across the platform. And we believe that this helps save time and money when you're implementing your solution. We also provide significant client support, not only to you as our direct client, but also to your attendees. So on every single client-facing page, we do provide technical support information where people can reach out to us either by phone or by email to inquire or ask any questions that they might have. As I mentioned with the boomerang system, clients can send us requests for changes, updates, corrections, anything like that. Our whole team gets them. They would be able to respond according to your deadlines. You would set when the due date is, and you can see here that we take a lot of pride in getting a lot of them completed on a regular basis. So we typically do 500 to 600 boomerangs a week on average as a company. And depending on the length of the month, we typically hit at least 2,500 to 3,000 per month. We also have extensive training tools available to staff throughout the platform. So we have what we call help tips. The help tips have tool guidelines associated with them where they can click on it and bring up a PDF or an article discussing how to use that specific page and tips and tricks for using the software. And then we also have some videos throughout the products that will also provide training as well. So one of the things that a lot of clients want or desire is single sign-on. So although we offer one platform, we do not have association management software, nor do we offer registration services. And those are some of the other areas of event technology that clients are interested in integrating with our platform. We can and do work with a number of different systems from both the registration and association management software perspective. So if you wanted to, we can create single sign-on across the systems to enable a seamless experience for your attendees as well. The other thing that we try to really focus on is the user experience. We have a very clean, in our opinion, very clean user interface that's very attractive from a brand perspective and consistent across all of our products. So again, from a consistency perspective, it's often in the attendees' best interest if they're familiar with the products that they have a great user experience. And then again, because of the integrated solution, once we have the single sign-on working, it works with both the website and the app and the conference evaluations, which is frequently done. If you're not using CadmiumCD services at other vendors, it's often sprinkled across several different vendors, which can confuse the entire process. So with us, we try to streamline it completely. So let's talk about how we manage to do all this. I had mentioned at the beginning that we offer a product called the Abstract Scorecard. It's used not only for abstracts, but anything where you're trying to collect information from submitters in order to put it through a third-party review system. In other words, if it needs to be sent to a judge's or a review committee or an education committee, anyone that needs to evaluate and grade it in order to determine what should and should not be presented at the conference, the scorecard is a wonderful tool. It's used more and more frequently by organizations for not only their abstracts, but also for awards. So a lot of associations will generate non-dues revenue by having an awards platform where they're giving recognition to their members or the industry that they're in for great work being done by their different members. So they establish the criteria, people can submit it through the system, and then it can be judged, again, by the third-party review. This is kind of what the review system looks like, where they'll be able to see on the left-hand side all the submissions and all the information submitted. And then this questions is customized based on what you want it to say, and then they can go through and answer the questions. From an exhibitor perspective, one of the things that, again, we specialize in is allowing you to streamline the process for your exhibitors by offering an online payment solution where they can select the booth that they are going to be at and then pay for it. So this is an example where you can see there's 2 booths that are currently listed. They would be able to see what was available. If they clicked on any of these surrounding booths that had already been sold, they would be able to see which exhibitors were in each of the different booths and then go from there. And then communicating not only with your attendees, but also with the speakers and the exhibitors as to what information that you need to collect from them, what the deadlines are, and then feedback back to them as to where they need to be as far as when the presentation is going to be, the date, the time, and the room, and who their co-presenters are going to be. Sometimes you may be combining sessions, maybe you're putting together a panel of experts. Communicating all that detail can be simplified through what we call a series of tasks within the harvester. So again, this is from the speaker side. They log in and they can see all their details. During the event, all those details are also visible from the speaker ready room if that's an option that you want to select. They can log in, they can finalize uploading their PowerPoint slides and complete any of their final details if they needed to. So before the event, again, managing the content, once you've collected it, obviously, or maybe not so obviously, you need to accept or reject the content that you want to include at your conference. Once you've accepted that content, then it comes down to the scheduling process. We can also help with that. We have a drag and drop scheduler tool that's very powerful. You can also use spreadsheets that we offer on the back end that will help streamline it as well. Or we can do a data side load. So if you do all of your scheduling in committees offline, we can definitely import that information into our system. So regardless of what process you're using, most likely we can help improve that. And this is just an example of the spreadsheet view where you could schedule it as well if you needed to. And then once you've got everything scheduled, communicating that information out to your attendees, we have very powerful communication modules where you can use what we call hotkeys. This is an example of a, oops, sorry about that. That's an example of a hotkey. A hotkey is very similar to mail merge field, where you're pulling in information from the database in order to allow the attendees to see information specific to them, but you can do it in a mass email blast, pulling the information from the system. So again, a great way to communicate with the attendees. We also offer meeting planners tools as well. So not only do we have an excellent attendee app, but we also have an add-on to the attendee app that's used by meeting planners on site to help manage operations. So one of the challenges with many events is that there's a number of third-party companies and a number of third-party representatives that are on site in order to help assist you. So for example, everyone from catering to registration, maybe you have building or facility people, or even maybe security. So all of those people are there to help, but trying to figure out who to contact and how to contact them can often be a challenge. We've seen in a lot of shows where the planners are walking around with a binder. We replace the binder. We can import all of your team members into this place. People can then immediately send each other texts or call them directly on their cell phones based on that information in there. They can also reach out to attendees. They can send requests to us, or they can send push notifications through the app. So again, this is a tool meant to streamline the operations. On the back end, we can tell you all sorts of information about where your attendees are from, when they're using the app, what type of platform they're using, how they're using it. We can tell you which presentations were the most popular, which exhibitors were the most popular, all that type of detail, which you would need in your post-conference analytics as well. So sharing the information. There's a number of different ways that the attendees could search and find information that you've collected. Two of the most common ways nowadays is either an app or a website. We provide both. Many people commingled the two terms, but in our vernacular, an app is something that's downloaded directly to your device. It's typically an Android or Apple or iOS device. They have to download the app from the App Store in order to get it on their device. The other option is a conference website. Our websites are responsive, meaning it works well on mobile devices as well as on your desktop or on your laptop. The app and the website communicate together. So if someone's logged in with the app and favorited sessions, or if they've logged in with the website and favorited the exhibitors they want to see or visit, the two communicate with each other. So as long as you're using the same login credentials, all your favorites and preferences will be saved from one device to the next. We also have an e-poster gallery. The e-poster gallery allows people to share their posters that they're submitting, typically used in medical or scientific meetings to highlight research that's going on in different areas. We can include an image of the poster and all the details surrounding their research. And finally, one of the other ways more and more of our clients are taking advantage of all the digital data is with digital signage. So this can include a schedule at a glance. It can include social media walls, which would include Twitter integrations or similar. And it can also include a schedule at a glance or even breakout signage, room signage. So all that can be supported through the information that you've already collected. We can also help with gamification. One of the major challenges a lot of planners come to us with is how to better engage the attendees with the exhibitors. Obviously, your exhibitors are there because they want to interact with the attendees and educate them on the products they offer. The challenge, though, is a lot of times the attendees are either intimidated or not interested in going to the trade show floor. So how can you help manage that bridge? One of the ways is to offer gamification. We have a gamification within the app. People will scan a QR code at the exhibitor booth. The QR code brings up a question about that exhibitor. So when CadmiumCD plays, one of my favorite questions to ask is how many distinct products does CadmiumCD offer? And then it's a multiple choice question, with 12 being the correct answer. Obviously, other people have different versions of this. Paper versions often are called bingo cards or passport cards. And then other digital methods exist as well. But one of the huge advantages we think we offer is the fact that you can customize the questions for each exhibitor and hopefully provide them an educational tidbit about that exhibitor to hopefully break that conversation barrier between the exhibitor and the attendee. People earn points by answering the question correctly, and then hopefully there's some small prizes or even larger prizes to be awarded based on their responses. Another way to engage the attendees is with audience response systems. Again, there's a number of ways to do audience response nowadays. There's ones that frequently include text messaging in response. Other ways include using devices provided by the AV company. Ours is built directly into the app. What are some of the advantages of that? Well, nowadays, almost everyone has their own mobile phone, so you don't have to worry about device limitations. For example, if you ordered 300 devices and you have 350 people show up at a session, what do you do for those 50 people that you weren't expecting? The other thing is that a lot of our clients want to record educational improvement. A lot of that's due to maintenance of certification or MOC requirements for the medical community. So with ARS, we know who you are when you're responding. So if John Doe gets the first question incorrect at the beginning of the session, and then John Doe is tested again at the end of the session, and he gets it correct, obviously there's an improvement there. we would know that John Doe had an improved response between the beginning and the end of the session. So that's an advantage that we can also offer because people are doing it through the app and we know who they are when they've logged into the app. And then we can also provide digital poster galleries. So this is an example where this was for American Academy of Pediatric Dentists. They had a very large sponsor, My Kids Dentist, that helped finance this. But rather than the traditional poster boards, they have digital screens. They operate them with iPads. Instead of an iPad, you could definitely use a computer. But either way, computer or iPad, you can navigate through the different posters and see the content that's of interest to you. And then finally, we had discussed digital signage as well. So you can, again, bring in information from social media posts, or you can do like a schedule at a glance over the course of the conference or just on that specific day. So people can quickly get a visual as to what's going on. So I'm almost finished, and I just want to conclude by giving you a quick overview or summary of what the strengths are. We've been around for a little over 18 years. We have over 60 people on staff that are focused on helping you improve your experience. We're located right outside of Baltimore in Forest Hill, Maryland, and clients can pick or choose any of the products that they want for their specific conference. So I'm going to conclude with this slide and open it up to any questions if there are any questions at this point. Kevin, are there any questions at this point?
Yep, I'm sorry, I was on mute. I am going to turn on everyone's microphone here so that they can ask questions. But I certainly want to thank you for a great presentation and showing us how we can all improve